Okay, in part 2 of our series of modifying our worksheets into Google Slides, we're going to be looking at how to convert an entire PDF into multiple images to use as a slide that's editable. Okay, for this example, I'm going to keep using the same file. So this is a PDF. I've already downloaded it to my computer. I'm going to open a new tab and type in pdfcandy.com. So PDF like the file and then candy like the treat.com. Okay, this is such a handy tool that I find I use all the time. So if you have some spare time, you might poke around and look at this as well. We're going to choose the PDF to JPG option. Okay, and then from here you can upload from your drive, or if it's already on your computer, you can just go that route as well. Okay, and so I'm going to choose high quality. It does take a little bit longer to convert it, but I find that the image looks better, and I'm going to convert this to a PDF. So now that that is completed, I can choose to download that file. I can also add that to my drive. For right now, I'm just going to download that file. Okay, it's going to come up as a zipped file, so I'm going to drag this over to my downloads, and I'm going to replace those. Okay, and so now I'm going to pop over to a new Google slide. I've already changed my background to blank just so that I'm not worrying about random text boxes and everything else. The next step is that I'm going to change my page setup. So go to File, Page Setup. The default is widescreen 16:9. I'm going to change this to Custom. And because this document was originally created to be vertical, it's going to work best vertical. Keep in mind that vertical documents are not always the easiest for your students to use, just because their screens are not vertical, and so it makes things a little bit more complicated for them. But if you aren't ready for that next step, then we're just going to go ahead and continue on with 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to change this, and you'll see that now my paper looks the same. All right, I'm going to go into background, and right here where it says choose image, I'm going to click on that. I'm going to upload from my computer, and then you'll see that all of my images are right here. So this was the first page, and I'm going to click on done. Okay, so then now I can come in here and add my text boxes just like I did with option 1. And so I like to make this a bright color and change that, and then make a line around it as well, so it's easy for them to find. And then I'm going to Control D to duplicate that. Okay, and so then the kids will have to zoom in on this. They are pretty good at doing that on their own, but you might just have to kind of coach them through that as well. Okay, and so that is the first option. The second option is I'm going to get a new slide. Let me fit that back. Oh no. Fits. Okay, go there. I'm going to change my layout back to blank. Okay, and then the other option is to upload this just on top of this so that it's not actually the background. The nice option with this is you can then modify this however you need to. And so if you don't want it to be vertical, if you want it to be horizontal and do an 11.5 by 8, you can modify the way that this is actually formatted and then drag and drop. The nice thing with doing it as a background is your kids can't change any of that. All they're going to be able to move are your text boxes, which those are pretty simple to move back however they need to. So a few different options there. You can either snip it like we did in option 1, or you can use PDF Candy to convert your PDF into multiple images. That's a nice time saver. Keep in mind though that most PDFs are vertical, and it does make it just a little bit harder for your students to do the work. Okay, but if you wanted to modify that and make it an horizontal document, you would just go into page setup and then change that to 11 by 8.5, and it would flip over to something a little easier for them to see.